The average price of a home in Aurora went up in July, but that's not the most interesting part of the story. When you look at how much choice buyers have, what they're actually paying, and how quickly homes are selling, there's a much more interesting picture. One of the key numbers we use to understand the balance between buyers and sellers is months of inventory. It tells us how long it would take to sell all the homes currently available based on the current rate of sales. Under 4 months is considered a seller's market, 4 to 6 months is balanced, and above 6 starts to favor buyers. Aurora had 5.7 months of inventory in July, up from 4 months in June. What's interesting is we didn't see a huge influx of homes. Homes for sale increased by about 5%, but sales dropped almost 25%. That's what pushed inventory higher. We're technically still balanced, but we're getting pretty close to a buyer's market where buyers have generally more choice, less pressure to compete, and more negotiating power. The average home in Aurora sold for about $1.28 million in July, up from 1.4% in June, but down just over 13% from last July. Remember, that's across all property types and neighborhoods. The mix of homes that sold that month can have a big impact on the average. That's why we don't look at an average price by itself. Your property type, neighborhood, and comparable sales give us a much better picture of what's happening with your home. Another number we pay close attention to is how much buyers are actually paying compared with asking price. In July, homes sold for an average of 96% of their list price, down from about 98% in June. But here's the number that really stands out. Almost 90% of homes sold in July sold below their asking price. That's a pretty strong indication that buyers have the negotiation power right now. They have more choice and don't necessarily have the same pressure to jump on something immediately. For sellers, it really comes back to pricing. If there are 5 or 6 comparable properties available and yours is priced noticeably higher than others, buyers are exploring other options. Homes also took longer to sell in July. The average days on market increased from 25 days in June to 37 in July, although that's still better than the 43 days from last July. And when homes are taking longer to sell at the same time that sales are slowing and inventory is increasing, it gives buyers more time and more options. It doesn't mean good homes aren't selling, but pricing, condition, and presentation matter even more when buyers have several homes to choose from. Interest rates are obviously still part of the conversation because they affect what buyers can afford and how much they can qualify for. We're seeing more borrowers consider variable rates or shorter fixed terms rather than locking in for 5 years, giving them more flexibility if rates are lower when it's time for renewal. Even with more borrowing costs down from their peak, buyers are still being careful. They're looking at their monthly payment, comparing their options, and asking, is this home worth what they're asking? And we're seeing some of that reflected in the July numbers. So putting this all together, there are opportunities on both sides of the market. For buyers, there's more choice, less pressure to compete, and more room to negotiate. If you've been waiting for the market where you can take your time and be more selective, this could be a great opportunity to start looking. For sellers, homes are still selling, but buyers have options. That means homes need to compete for their attention. Pricing, presentation, and showing buyers good value really matter right now. And if you're wondering whether now is the right time to move or wait until fall, waiting doesn't necessarily mean the market will be better for you. We could see more buyers come back, or we could see even more homes being available. The opportunity is understanding the market you're in today and using those conditions to your advantage. Curious what any of this means for your own situation? Please reach out. We're always happy to answer your questions. And we'll be back next month to see whether August gives us our first clue about what to expect from the fall market.